I'm now going to turn to a complete different area now, and I've got you thinking enough for the time being. So let's look at some magic squares. First of all, you've got the Lo Shu magic square. This originated sometime, not quite sure when. It's not really known. It's somewhere between 200 and 1200 BC. The Emperor Yu was bathing, and he suddenly saw this turtle come out with a magic square on its back, as you can see the picture here. A magic square is an arrangement of numbers so that numbers in each row and each column and the two main diagonals come to the same thing. So if you add all those up, you get 15 in each case. And this turned out to have quite religious significance for them. They attached religious significance to this particular arrangement. And this leads to the problem, of course, can you construct bigger magic squares? I'm sure that many of you are familiar with Dürer's Melancholia, where you've got probably Dürer himself looking at these geometry objects and looking rather miserable for some reason. But at the back, you can see a magic square with the numbers from 1 to 16, all so that the rows and columns and probably the diagonals add up to the same thing. So you can get 4x4 ones. Here's one found in China, in Xi'an, on an iron plate. In fact, it's an Arabic magic square with the numbers from 1 to 36, again with the properties of adding rows and columns. I haven't checked the diagonals. So the game was on to try and construct larger and larger magic squares, or magic squares with more and more interesting properties. Here's a rather nice one constructed in China in 1275. It's a 9x9 one. Okay, they got as large as 9x9. But the interesting thing is that you can actually break it up Sudoku-wise into 9 3x3 blocks, and each of these separately is a magic square. Okay. So this has all the numbers from 1 to 81 arranged in a magic square, but each of the little ones is itself a magic square. And if you think that's clever, about 300 years before that, there was this magic square that I'm showing you here. This is 15 by 15. It has all the numbers from 1 to 225. And what he did is, the middle is a 3 by 3 magic square. And then he put a border around it, giving a 5 by 5 one, and a 7 by 7 one, 9 by 9, 11 by 11, 13 by, and 15 by 15. Those are all magic squares. Okay? And you might wonder what that diamond's doing there. Well, it has the extra property that everything inside the diamond is an odd number, and everything outside the diamond is an even number. So there we are. But the cleverest of all, I think, is Benjamin Franklin, who, when he wasn't being a traitor, he was doing useful things like constructing magic squares. Okay, so here's one of his magic squares. It's 16 by 16, all numbers up to 256. And so the sum of any row or any column is the same. It's 2056. It's so arranged that if you add any half row or any half column, that's half the sum, and you get 1028. The sum of the four corners and the four central squares is 1028. And you've got lots of other things which are 1028. And in fact, if you take any 4 by 4 block, okay, like that one there, those numbers add up to 2056. And so do these. And so do these. And so do these. I think that's amazing. And he spent quite a bit of time constructing these things.